Good day, everyone. My name is Irah Mae Braganza from MM2, and I will going to report chapter 9, which is pricing. So in this chapter, we will discuss the main aspects of pricing in retailing. So what is pricing? Pricing refers to the decision-making process that goes into establishing a value for a product or service. In other words, pricing occurs when a business decides how much a customer must pay for a product or services. The importance of retail pricing. Pricing in general and price promotion in particular have always been an important marketing instrument in retailing up to present. Price has played a very important role in retail marketing. However, it is precisely this focus on price reduction, often based more on belief and institution on the part of retailer, than on facts and knowledge about its effects, that makes pricing a field of considerable strategic importance today. So why is pricing is important in retail? Because the price of the product is one of many essential factors that decide whether a business will be successful or not. It is the one of the first consideration for many customer and it determines the profit margin on products. Price determines the future of the product or acceptability of the product to the customer, and the return and profitability from the product. This is important because this is the tool of competition. Methods of price setting. There are three major methods for setting product prices in retailing. First is cost-oriented pricing. Second is competition-oriented pricing. And the last one is the demand-oriented pricing. First method is cost-oriented pricing. The most commonly used method for determining retail prices is cost-oriented method, also called cost-plus pricing. Here, a fixed percentage, the markup, is added to the cost of product in order to determine the final retail price. So this is the formula how to calculate a markup. A markup pricing can be determined by adding the cost of the product with a certain percentage of markup to determine the final price. To determine the merchandise cost, the company should know what is the exact total cost of the production of product and the markup value. So, in this method, this is the purest of the pricing method because in this method, the certain percentage of the desired profit is added to the cost of the product to obtain the final price of the product. The cost of the product is the total cost spent on the production of the product. So, the advantage of using a markup pricing method is the easiness of the calculation of the final price of the product. Most companies use this method to decide the final price of the goods and services. Next method is the competition-oriented pricing. In competition-oriented pricing, the retailer identifies his main competitors and set his prices accordingly. Many retailers systematically monitor prices in their competitors' outlets. Depending on the pricing strategy, prices for certain products are then established at or below the competitor's price. Competition must be considered in many retailing industries because retailing is often characterized by oligopolistic competition. So, competition pricing is also known market-oriented pricing. This method is a pricing in which a manufacturer price is determined more by the price of a similar product sold by a powerful competitor than a consideration of consumer demand and the cost of production. It means basing the price of your product or services on those of the competition rather than considering consumer demand. And your own cost is pricing method also involves analyzing and researching your target market. The last one method is demand-oriented pricing. With demand-oriented pricing, the retailer bases his prices on consumer demand. The sensitivity of consumer to price changes is an important coefficient for setting a demand-oriented price. The price elasticity of demand is a measure of consumer sensitivity to price. It measures the responsiveness of quantity demand to a change in price. So, in this method of pricing, the seller attempts to set price at the level at the intended buyers are willing to pay. The demand-oriented pricing is also called value-oriented pricing. So, this is the formula in this method. The price elasticity of demand is the measure of consumer sensitivity to price. With the price elasticity of greater than 1, if the retailer raises price, total revenue decreases. If price elasticity is less than 1, the demand is relatively price inelastic. A price increases result in a smaller relative reduction in purchasing volume and the total revenue increases. So this is example of estimation of price demand function from scanner data. Customer can be surveyed to determine whether they would buy a certain product at the certain price. Expert can estimate sales level at certain price based on their knowledge of similar products. As you can see in the illustration, the smaller circle represents the price or sales combination, and the line represents the estimated price and the demand function. So this is the example of estimation of price demand function. That's all.
Good day everyone. My name is Delfin Lyka Mae of BSBA-MAJOR. I will going to discuss about the interdependence of price demand functions within assortment. Second is the technology in retail pricing, price positioning and price structure. Fourth, price differentiation, and fifth, geographic price differentiation. So, interdependence of price demand function within assortment has a cross-product price elasticity. Cross-product price elasticity refers to retailers simultaneously offer a large variety of products to consumers, so that retail pricing is really a multiple product pricing activity. The demand function of different products are interrelated and not only the own price elasticity of demand is irrelevant, but also the various cross-product price elasticity. Demand interrelationship can have a complementary effects. Substitute goods. So what is substitute goods? The cross elasticity of demand for substitute goods is always positive, because demand for one good increases when the price for the substitute goods increases. Substitute goods have a positive cross price elasticity. As the price of one good increases, the demand of the other good increases. For example, if the price of coffee increases, the quantity demanded for a tea, which is a substitute beverage for a coffee, increases as consumers switch to a less expensive yet substitutable alternative. This is reflective in the cross elasticity of demand formula, as the numerator percentage change in demand of tea and the denominator is the price of the coffee show positive increases. We also have complementary goods. Complementary goods is alternatively the cross-elasticity of demand for complementary goods is negative. As the price for one item increases, an item closely associated with that item and necessary for its consumptions decreases because the demand for the main good has also dropped. Complementary goods have a negative cross-price elasticity. As the, as the price of one good increases, the demand for the second good decreases. For example, if the price of coffee increases, the quantity demanded for coffee stick drops as consumers are drinking less coffee and need to purchase fewer sticks. In the formula, the numerator is the quantity demanded of steer sticks is negative and the denominator is the price of coffee which is positive. This results in in a negative cross elasticity. Mixed calculation and loss leader. A mixed calculation in which certain products are used to draw customers into the store and to establish a positive price image, while other products are used to make customers' total purchase profitable for the retailers, is therefore a common strategy. Within such a strategy, loss leaders are often used by retailers. A loss leader strategy involves selling a product or service at a price that is not profitable, but it is sold to attract new customers or to sell additional products and services to those customers. Loss leading is a common practice when a business first enters a market. A loss leader strategy introduces new customers to a service or product in the hopes of building a customer base and securing future revenue. It also a product lower than its production cost in order to attract customer or to sell other more expensive products. Large company can afford to a price product with no margin because they have other products they can sell profitably to make up the loss. Loss leading strategy can hurt small businesses as well as supplier who might be forced to keep their own price low so that a business can continue with its loss leading strategy. Technology and retailing prices. Pricing. Due to its complexity, while retail pricing has often been based on intuition and simple rules such as fixed markups, new technology is being developed constantly. Price optimization software can predict demand for individual products and certain price level. Based on historical price and sales data, competitors' prices, local demographics, inventory, and other data. The complexity the complexity of the decision and the intense interdependence of influence factors, as well as the fact that the prices of many products influence the sale of one specific product, makes new technology necessary. Price optimization software can be used by retail managers to test and forecast the expected reaction of consumers to changing pricing and promotion tactics in a what if scenarios. We also have price positioning and price structure. Price positioning describes the process of adapting your price towards the position you want your products and services to represent in the market. It is a marketing strategy in which you attempt to create a position for your brand in the minds of your target customers that are according to the price is consistent to your positioning. Price positioning is result in the targeting of a different consumer segment. Price being a strong constrainer to demand, it must be chosen wisely what position in the market you're choosing to take. If your product is worth this price and it can compete with the other products in the price range, it is therefore highly important to assess your competitors' position first before making a decision on pricing, as if the value of your offering to your clients to this price position or price point of a lesser value than your competitors who will have encountered issue in the long term. Price structure. A strategy is a consistent uniform plan approach to a pricing of products and services to achieve business and marketing goals. A thoughtful pricing structure is critical in an overall marketing strategy because it impacts the perception that customers have about your brand products and services, as well as revenue and profit. Price structure is a pricing structure define and organize prices for your company's product and services. The objective is to charge in rate that aligns with your price strategy while balancing profits with the market will bear to avoid over or undercharging customer. A pricing structure prices products and services so that it makes sense to customers and gets them to buy. For instance, you might offer a discount when customers buy more than one product. Price lining. Price lining, referred to as product line pricing, is a marketing process wherein products or services within a specific group are set in a different price points. The higher the price, the higher the perceived quality to the consumers. However, while price lining can be profitable, it relies on the number of factors to make it work and is not always the best pricing option for every product or service. In simple terms, price lining is a process of grouping similar offerings under different price brackets, each varying slightly by the quality features or attributes on offer. This bracket usually tend to for ex- start low and go higher in price. For example, Coca-Cola. The company sells in different sizes of the same drink at different prices, but it even prices the gift pack differently during festival. Price differentiation. Price differentiation means charging different customers different for the same product. The extreme case is negotiating the price with each customer individually. In some retailing industry, such as mobile, and flexible pricing based on negotiation is standard and the price is actually paid very greatly. Price strategy for international market that allow each local subsidiary or partner agent distributor to set price that considered to be the most appropriate for local condition and no attempt is made to coordinate prices from country to country. This is a pricing strategy to sell the same product to different consumer at different prices based on the customer estimated economic of an offering. Geographic price differentiation. Geographical pricing is the practice of adjusting an item's sale price based on the location of the buyer. Sometimes the difference in the sale price is based on the cost to ship the item to that location, but the difference may also be based on what amount the people in that location are willing to pay. Companies will try to maximize revenue in the markets in which they operate, and geographically, pricing contributes to that goal. It always up it, it is always up to the seller of the goods to determine how they will price their product, and based on that decision, the outcome will vary. For example, the seller may decide to sell their product in a location far away and absorb the cost of shipping, thereby pricing the product competitively. In a foreign market, this may result in lower profit margins or no profits at all, but may increase brand awareness in the new location for the new benefit down the line. Price zone. Price zone is retailers often use price zone as area or groups of stores in which consumers pay uniform prices while the prices between the zones differ, such as price zone help retailers to adapt pricing more effectively to the distinctiveness and competitive environment of a local market area. In large cities, sometimes retailers even have a different pricing zones within the same city. Zone pricing is the process of establishing prices for a product and services depending on where people buy them. If a consumer buys something in area A and then the same thing in the area B or zone B or in zone A, they may have to pay different prices. A company may use a pricing system to pay for transportation costs. In other words, something may cost more the further away it is from where it was made. One price policy. While geographic price differentiation enhances profits, some retailers follow on the one price policy, charging all customers the same price for a certain item, irrespective of the store location. This is policy implemented, for example, by a co-op in Switzerland, is direct towards consumers' trust in the retailer and is often based on a company mission with a strong corporate responsibility element. A one price policy is a strategy in which the seller offers the same price to every customer. In other words, the price does not vary according to payment method or professional offers. It is the opposite of differential pricing approach or the variable price policy. With one price policy, customers cannot negotiate the price. They cannot negotiate the price because the company won't allow it. Under a one price policy, the sellers show no discrimination. The seller charges all similar types of purchases the same price. Also, the terms of sales are the same. Negotiating or bargaining are out of the question. Under this type of policy, if the seller offers a discount, if it offers them on equal terms to all purchasers. One price policy supporters say it's a fair trade practice that gains customer confidence. It gains customer confidence because they know exactly where they stand with the company. And that would be all. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I am Rozelle Juanzo, and my report will be the last continuation of Chapter 9, Pricing. So, before we move on to the whole discussion of this presentation, these are the contents of my presentation. We'll tackle about high-low policy, the EDLP or the everyday low price policy, price reduction options, psychological pricing, and pricing in the internet. First, high-low and the EDLP policy. So, high-low policy, in this policy, retailers have relatively high regular prices but use a substantial temporary price reductions to advertise their products and draw customers into the stores. Many supermarkets, been before and nowadays, are using this strategy. Price promotions can be regarded as a method of price differentiation through customer self-selection. So this means that the promotion is offered to all customers, and customers will be then the one to decide whether they will access the price promotion given or not. For the less price sensitive customers, they will buy at regular prices, but those of more price sensitive customers, they will wait for the sale to come before they will proceed to buy. Second, price promotions can influence the retailer's price image, and price reductions pose the danger that they change the customer reference price. So what is customer reference price? It is also known as the reference pricing. It refers to how much consumers expect to pay for a good to other competitors and previously advertised price. In other words, it serves as their basis for a price. One-time reduction is considered as a bargain, but a frequent or longer time reductions of a price to the product reduce the reference price, making it difficult to sell the product at normal price in the future. Next, heavy price promotion activity can erode consumer confidence in regular prices. Why? Because customers are bewildered of unstable prices. Next, customer can buy larger quantities of a product at reduced prices and then stock them, thus reducing the amount purchased at normal prices. And lastly, high-low pricing is often criticized for encouraging disloyalty and appeal to smart shoppers who only buy items on special prices, especially for intensive high-low strategies. Um, it can lead to reduced profits to the retailer in the long run. Next is the EDLP, or the Everyday Low Price Policy. So, in EDLP strategy or policy, prices remain stable over a long period of time. It involves offering consistently low prices. EDLP makes the shopping process easier for the customer and enhances the trust to the retailer because of the price continuity. The customers of high-low stores can experience disappointments. For example, if they can see certain products being sold this week much lower than they paid last week. But in EDLP policy, because prices remain stable, it leads to price credibility to the customers. While price promotions result to short-term volume volatility, EDLP results in stable sales. Therefore, sales forecasting becomes more reliable. Out of stocks can be avoided, and warehousing and transport costs are reduced. But on the other hand, EDLP has high price transparency, and thus can only be implemented successfully if the retailer has a very low cost structure. So EDLP makes price comparisons much easier for consumers so as to competitors than in high-low policy. Therefore, an EDLP retailer must have a lower price for most of his products, and only the most efficient retailer will be able to sustain this in the long run, because it is truly hard to sustain a very low price every day. Retailers must also consider different factors in pricing. For example, the cost structure, the production cost, positioning, competitors, the profit, and many other more. Let's move on to price reduction options. Markdowns. Markdowns are a permanent reduction of initial price. Markdowns are planned ahead and calculated into the initial markup in order to be able to reduce prices as part of a temporal price differentiation strategy. Also, for example, it is said that customers with higher willingness to pay for new fashion or trend early in the season pay higher prices than customers who buy later in the season. So, do you think so? Because markdowns are applied later after the launch of a new product, because number of sales might decline or sooner or later because of certain reasons, like the product is being outdated, or there aren't any more improvements to the products unlike before. And instead of losing the whole income or profit, businesses will decide to sell the product lesser than the cost early in the season, but they will not lose the entire profit, because as I said a while ago, it is just part of their strategy. So there are different options for temporary price reductions, which are the promotion packs, BOGOFs, or the buy one get one free, multi-packs, coupons, and store-wide reductions. Promotion packs. Promotion packs have some extra content, and the price per volume is lower or sometimes remains the same. Just like here on the example, this shampoo says that it has a 30% more content, but the price of the product didn't change at all. Next is the BOGOFs, or the buy one get one free. So in this, a customer receives 1 unit of a product free of charge if he buys the other one for a full price. Next, multi-packs. Multi-packs are several units of the same products that are tied together in bundle, and the price bundle is usually lower than the individual sum of the product per unit. Next is coupons. So coupons are used at the store to check out in order to get a discount. So I think most of us are familiar in coupons, especially in fast food chains. They usually offer coupons a lot. Store-wide reductions. So store-wide reductions are another option which applies to the whole assortment. Like for example, in this image, it says that there is a 70% off on top brands and designer labels store-wide in restaurants. The short-term effects of price promotions are often very strong. Such promotions can lift sales by several 100% for a short time, depending on the category and promotion instrument used. On the other hand, a certain share of such increased sales derives only from purchase acceleration. This can lead to a below normal sales volume of the same product for some time after the promotion. Psychological pricing. So, in psychological pricing, there is price-quality relationship. It is difficult for consumers to evaluate a product's quality. Price may be used as an indicator of quality. Consumers often lack the necessary information and ability to judge the merchandise quality accurately. In setting prices, it is not just purely economics, but also psychological aspects of prices have to be considered. For example, there is a customer that happens to plan to buy a unfamiliar product. They will likely to buy a product with a lower price, not considering nor comparing the quality of that product to other products of higher prices. Another example is consumers perceive that there is a greater variance among brands. Brands for them increases the customer's reliance on price as a cue to judge the quality. Next is price communication. Even though price seems to be objective, price perception is often largely subjective. Depending on the way the price is communicated to consumers, they evaluate price value differently. Price communication can therefore be an important facet of retailers' pricing strategy. For example, price communication is applied mostly in malls, especially in department stores. Um, it is where we can see large price signs, red or yellow color of price stickers, crossed out old prices, and sometimes comparisons with recommended retail price by many manufacturers. These are done to convince consumers that there is a reduction in prices offered, just like the word sale. Another frequent used approach is that of odd prices. For example, products that end on an odd number 9, like you can see in the image. Consumers are expected to perceive prices slightly below certain thresholds as substantially lower to a product price substantially lower. For example, a product is priced 99 pesos is perceived to be less expensive than a product priced 100 pesos, even though the difference is just a peso, because it is a psychological approach used by many. Sometimes there are approach or in or strategy that prices ends in number 8, like that, and many other more. So pricing in the internet. Price differentiation is heavily used in the internet. While store-based retailers usually set fixed prices within one store, auctions, which is a very traditional form of finding the optimal selling price based on customers' exact willingness to pay, have regained popularity through the internet. So, an example of a modern auction applies in online shops. Let us say that there is a certain item or product which you like to buy, and this online shop applies the MSG policy or the mine still grab policy. So you say mine for a price of 100 pesos. If no one steals or grabs the item, then it's yours. But if it happens that there is another customer who wants to buy the product, they can steal it for a price higher than 100 pesos. For example, 150 pesos. So then the item was stealed from you because that customer offered a higher price. So if no one grabs the product, then that product will belong to that person who stole the product, of course. You can grab the item back, or if you are really persistent to have it, or there will be another person who will grab the product, and this person, for example, will offer 200 pesos for the product because this is the highest bid or the price offer. Therefore, the last person to grab and offer the highest amount can get the product. That is an example of an auction, because auction is defined as the highest bid or the highest bidder will take the product. Another important development is increased price transparency. Comparing prices through the internet is far simpler and faster than visiting store outlets. Since internet shops often price their products aggressively. These prices are used by consumers as reference prices even when shopping at brick and mortar stores. Store retailers have to invest in facilities, employees in stock, and they have different cost structure than of internet players, and matching prices is not always easy. So that is a fact that store retailers have to consider different prices. So the- they have to consider different prices. That's why they have a different pricing point to those of retailers who sells only in the internet. So for conclusion and outlook, pricing is a major marketing instrument for retailers. It is an important element of customer buying decisions, and the right pricing may be a decisive determinant of profit and loss for a retailer, because prices have really high impact to customers when proceeding to make a decision whether they will buy the product or not. There are certain trends that can be observed. Like for example, retailers are setting their prices based on consumer demand and on what the market is willing to pay. Second, many companies now introduce the everyday low price policy, or the EDLP. The main reason is to improve efficiency in the supply chain, forecast demand more reliably, and achieve more consistent sales patterns. Price differentiation between regions or based on other factors is likely to become even more widespread in the future. It does not only vary from region to region, but also on the basis of customer profiles. So, for the changing world in business, prices and pricing strategies will also change in the long run. And this will be a challenge for retailers because customers always look for the product with the lower prices, and retailers have to make way or think of a plan or a strategy to meet the needs or the expectation of the customer of the price of a product. So that's all for our report of pricing. Thank you so much for listening, and have a good day, everyone.